tomorrow for the big show at 2 p.m. Alex Jones after the news. This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app on your smart speaker, 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 11 o'clock. This is Catherine Cracknell. The front-runner in the Conservative leadership race, Liz Truss, has said she'll act immediately to help people struggling with the soaring cost of living if she becomes Prime Minister later this week. Speaking on the BBC Sunday with Laura Kuenssberg, the Foreign Secretary said she'd announce a plan within 1 week of moving into Downing Street. And she said she'd take decisive action to ensure families and businesses could get through the winter.
I understand that people are struggling with eye-watering energy bills, and there are predictions of even worse down the track. And I can say, Laura, that I will act. If I'm elected as Prime Minister, I will act immediately on bills and on energy supply.
As Truss's rival in the leadership race, Rishi Sunak, told Laura Kuenssberg if he won the contest, he'd target help to pay soaring energy bills and those who needed it most.
What I've said I would do is provide direct financial support. I announced some of that as Chancellor. I would go further as Prime Minister as the situation has deteriorated, and we would do that with direct payments using both the welfare system and the system we have to pay pensioners their winter fuel payment.
Donald Trump has called the FBI raid to recover classified documents from his Florida home a shocking abuse of power and accused President Biden of weaponising the Bureau against him. Mr. Trump was addressing a Republican rally in Pennsylvania in his first public appearance since Mr. Biden described him as a threat to American democracy. A teenager has been stabbed to death in East London. Police were called to reports of a disturbance involving a large number of people in Bow just after midnight. A second teenager, who was also stabbed, is in a critical condition in hospital. No arrests have been made. Figures from the Ministry of Defence show 960 migrants were brought to Kent yesterday by Border Force and lifeboat crews after they tried to cross the channel in small boats. The French authorities say they returned almost 190 people to France after they got into difficulty at sea. Football and England's manager, Sarina Wiegman, has said she's proud of her team after they qualified for the Women's World Cup with victory over Austria last night. The 2-0 win was the Lionesses' first match since they won the European Championship this summer. The former England captain Faye White hopes they'll replicate that success in Australia and New Zealand next year.
We got to the semi-finals in 2019, so the players will believe that there's no limit really now, but it's about putting the performances in and having a bit of a target on your back now. Other teams will raise their standards against the European champions. So it's going to be a new kind of environment, new feeling for the players to have to handle that.
And customs officials in Pakistan have seized a Bentley car worth around £250,000, which was stolen from London and shipped to the city of Karachi. They say they were able to trace the vehicle because the thieves had failed to dispose of its tracker. And that's the BBC News at 11:03.
Now, Alex Jones. Listen live on the BBC Sounds app.